never follow no wind. Getting deeper in the frame. I see your face, I feel the pain, but you chose the path I follow. I'm in love with the way that you hold me when I fall back down, and I'm in love with the words from your voice that put me off the ground now. This love's been a long time coming. My breath slows but my heart keeps running. I'm so fed up of the lies that my heart believed in, but staring deep into your eyes makes it all forgiven. I feel my cover will be blown, my fears will grow out of control. Yeah, you still want the path I follow.
Welcome everyone, round number 11 of this is Belgium time, and this was race 3 of the league last season. Now it is race 50, I want to say 54, something like that, race 54, something, or no, 57, I'm sorry, that's how many races it is in between those races, 54, 57, so 57th race in the league, 54 races in between. I'm joined by Milo Gaming today. Milo Gaming, how are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you. Another tier 1 race, and totally different to what we've seen over the previous 2 days. 2 very good races indeed. Hopefully that can continue at a track usually prone for a lot of crashes.
Yeah, but it is very good on the overtaking, I'd say, side. If you look back to the Belgium races, 2019, you know, obviously we know what happened in the F2 race the day before. Obviously heavy hearts with Leclerc and them, who were good friends with Antoine, and we know how much that meant for Charles Leclerc to get his first ever win in real life in the F1 side. So that meant a lot to him, and because of that, you know, he gone on to win more races with Italy. So you know, that was just to, you know, really show what we could see. And obviously Ferrari, you know, their controversy with their engine and stuff like that they had, you know, but Charles Leclerc still won that race, and Alex Albon, first start for Red Bull as well that time. But I want to speak about the Tier 3 and the Tier 2 races. First off, let's start with the Tier 3. Tier 3 at Mexico. We're at Mexico for the other tiers. That's where we were. Think about all the stuff that you can combine and you could say about what's been happening. Tier 3, the championship was clinched with Davis, 2K7 winning, but some retaliation with GSR Patriot that resulted in a big penalty for him. Obviously, retaliation isn't taken like that. Retaliation isn't taken like, oh yeah, they'll just get away with it, normal penalty. No, it's a strict penalty. You don't get away with that. That's just the way it goes. And Daniel Lucas won on track for the second time, but didn't win the race. Davis won the race. And a podium for Just Dylan Boy. First time since Bahrain, race 2. But tell me about that race, Milo. I'm pretty sure you were watching it, and that day the TRL finale was for Tyrrell Limitless and Jam Pancakes as well.
Yeah, we're getting ever closer to F1 2020, which does mean, sadly, that this season will end. It's been a very fun season, but in regards to Tier 3, Davis deserves it. He's been on it all season and got quicker and quicker, which is how you win championships. That's how Mercedes keep winning every year, by just getting better and better, developing the already best package. That's just destined for success, basically, and that's what Davis has done. He's kept on improving and won the Tier 3 championship. Unfortunately, Patriot did retaliate and was awarded that penalty, which dropped him down to 4th, which meant it did not continue on to USA. But overall, a good race for overtaking. Long straight into turn 1. We've got the long straight with the Kemmel straight towards the start of sector 2. So that's where we'll see most of the overtakes today instead. Of the championships that can be wrapped up in Tier 1 as well, Rapper Lucas needs to outscore Mr. Boca by 8 points to take the championship fight onto USA. But if he doesn't do that, Mr. Boca will have won this season's championship. And Renault as well need to outscore Williams by 30 to win the Constructors' Championship. No matter what, they'll win it due to countback and wins.
I just realized I put the stream name on this thing, Mexico, and yet we're in Belgium.
Oh, well done. Oh, well done. And the
yeah, guys, totally Mexico. We're at the other side of the world on this track. You gotta love it. Jesus Christ. Atlantis is around, by the way. I was gonna say, yeah, tier 2 race. I gotta speak about that first before we get to the full championship battle. Milo Gaming, how did you get your first win? Tell me about that. You gotta feel bad for Crumply Tripod, though. Easily had his first win.
Like I said in the interview, he was much quicker than me on hards. I admitted as well, I would have never won that on raw pace. But it was mostly the safety car restarts that I got sorted, and the last one set me up for the result as well. Although Pluto was catching me at the end, which was a bit nerve-wracking. Yeah, a lot of nerves in that race, but it was an awful lot of fun, and it was great to be a part of it. I'm glad that I've got my first win before the end of a season where I could have had more, to be honest. Reflect on my mistakes, and yeah, finally it came.
It finally did. A crazy race yesterday. Probably, I would say, in my own opinion, probably the most craziest tier 2 race this season yet. I thought Bahrain was crazy with all the stuff with F1 Boy and all the stuff that I think in general, overall, a clean race, a decently clean race, was that one. I wouldn't say every race, every race was clean in tier 2. There's been some races, but that one was somewhat clean, I'd say. And we have a spinner somewhere. Don't know where that is, but regardless, I was going to say, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Wow,
Absolutely.
You know, time is gone throughout this, and I think Jab just gave Rumbly Fungus a little bit of a slipstream right there. He goes up to 12th, but yeah, I was going to say, a lot can happen today. A lot could change in the championship, and it could easily change every single second. A spin up a Rouge, a spin up Radion, a spin in Lacombe, La Source, wherever, and Razone, by the way, has already beat the pole time from last season. So, yeah, tier 2 yesterday, Crumply Tripod, you gotta feel bad for him, but the podium stands as Milo Gaming, Pluto, Crumply Tripod. And this championship fight still, by the way, goes on to the next week, and as well as goes on to the week after that with the constructors as well. Just keep in mind as well these point standings that I have up on the board. I put the gap in between because of this. And Mr. Boker, a 42-6 already. He's really pushing for that pole point. Because if he gets that pole point, that's one less point you don't have to worry about in the race. So if, say, for example, Rappalucas finishes first, Boker finishes second, for example. Boker, at this point, with the pole point,
Would still win.
Would still win. But with the pole point, he kind of really wouldn't. And good job to Ricochet going up to second as well.
Wow.
That's
Ricochet's
starting the season
really
fun.
improved lately.
Yeah, I gotta speak to him about the no traction because I want to learn myself how to do better. But
Yeah.
I'm obviously not gonna. But the thing is, with Ricochet, he switched to no traction, I believe. And you know, we've not seen the pace of him. I mean, it's kind of similar to DW. He's shown the quality pace. He's shown the pace and quality, but never could capitalize on it in the race. And he did that in LDRL a few times, Milo. He's shown that he can capitalize, but not here yet. He's only got a few points over here in races. Not really got a good result besides Bahrain. So, then I got to speak about the standings again. Standings, 61 points it is between them. So now if Boker steals that pole point, Rappalucas then needs to have 9 points to, 9 points. Beat Boker by 9 points to, win, or not win, but, get the constructors, or the drivers, excuse me, championship still intact, and a chance at battling for it. I was going to say as well, the constructor standing 60 points between them. Renault need to outscore Williams by 30 points today. If they outscore them by 30 points today, that's the Constructors' Championship for them. And right now, with the qualifying, Williams being up there as well, you know, I mean, it's only qualifying. Who the hell knows? It's, you know, DW's up there, Spinella in the race, who knows? I mean, it all depends of what could happen. I mean, from what we've seen, you just don't know. You just don't know. Anyways, was going to say as well as Ricochet on the racing line right in front of the 2 Mercedes here. He's going to have to get out of the way. He's trying to get out of the way.
The Mercedes was slipstreaming, so that's why Jarvis just in front of him. He cut the Lacombe chicane just to get back in front of him.
Yeah, Hissy, big up the no assist drivers. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I gotta do that. I mean, Hissy, you're a tier 2 driver. No assist for you. You gotta get shouted out there sometime. I was gonna say as well. Here's some of the fun facts in this race. This is race 57 of the league. Race 3 it was back when we did this race in season 1. This originally was not going to be on the calendar, but Tier 1 kind of begged for it, so I was like, alright, I'll give it to you guys. First time winner this in their first start, season 1, that was actually F1 driver, who currently sits 7th, and
Tax
Amos
4th.
Tax goes up to 4th with that. Wow.
Slipstream effect.
And
Well done, Mercedes.
don't forget it, they had that in Italy. Keep that in mind. So,
Yeah.
anyways, Alabama Outlaw took his first podium from last season at this racetrack. This was the track he gone into that podium streak of 2 races in those 4 races that he had of good finishes and good pace. You also have as well, this race was won off of penalties last season. DW took the win on track. Usually wouldn't say that today, but F1 driver took the race off the penalties after that. Oh my god, my English, I need to fix it. Tell me about it. 4 different pole winners in the last 4 weeks. Could we see a 5th today? Ricochet's up there as well. Got 2.5 minutes left in the session. Want to point out as well, with all this, Mr. Boker has won 7 times in his 11 starts. Today it could be 8 of the 12 starts. Think about that for a stat. 8 wins, and he would have the tying the most in a single season. Prediction on when DW will spin. We'll get to that soon. 4 different winners this season as well. John, Razone, Boker, and Rappalucas. Rappalucas having 2 wins. Razone, John having 1, and Mr. Boker having about 6 of them. And 10 retirements in last season's Belgium race was something we saw. Hopefully we don't have anything else happen like that today. I also mentioned as well, I'm going to mention again today, the formation lap spins. Retaliation, any sort of formation lap crashes on purpose or just in general, the formation lap will not be tolerated because the bad starts it caused and the crashes to cause in Tier 3. But let's talk about the start for Tier 2 for a minute, Milo. And last week as well. Very clean start last week as well. Very clean start in Mexico, except for Matty Mumu spinning it out. Lap 1. Besides that, very clean.
Yeah, the formation lap. Just a simple instruction can really improve the racing. A lot less went on the formation lap yesterday, and a lot less went on in the first sector on lap 1, which is a bit unusual for Mexico. Even in real life, we see trouble brewing. 2017 rings a bell, 2018 rings a bell, 2019 rings a bell. So obviously Mexico Tier 2 avoided that, and yeah, overall some clean racing we've been treated to lately, which is nice. End of the game, we deserve some of that as Typhoon with ties from 15th now.
Yeah, that is true, and as I'm watching Boker do a lap, the thing is, yeah, we do need that clean racing, and the first laps have really provided way more clean racing and way more better racing. Tier 3 not as much, but Tier 1 and 2 have really provided those lap 1 races of clean races. Tier 1, lap 1 last week, really great lap 1. Very clean, no trouble whatsoever. Might change today, of course. Then in Tier 2 you had Mexico. The only spinner was Matty Mumu in that first lap. He was the only one around, and it was by himself. Maybe you gotta help. Maybe he got tagged by someone. Who knows? Don't know. I'm watching Boker here. Here he is on this lap. Sideways through the double left-hander. He hits the curb just a little bit. Not gonna spin it that time. I'm watching where Boker is gonna go. The 2 Red Bulls as well. John goes
DW to the line. He's up on his time.
Graham to the line. That DW to 5th, the Ferrari behind, but Boker is 85 1,000s up, already up from last season's pole time by almost a full second. Almost the Ferrari comes to the line, that same seat I believe, gonna be 13th, but no, the checkered flag is yet to be complete. The 2 racing points, Silent filling in for Jack, who's probably only gonna make next week. Where does Silent and Axe both go? Axe 9th on his outlap, and I believe that's Silent actually on his outlap as well, down to 20th. Yes, he is. Now Mr. Boker comes to the line to complete the checkered flag. Now, where does he go? A full second, almost best from last season. 142.5 for Mr. Boker. They're Alfa Romeo behind. F1 driver goes up to 5th. Last season's winner.
Ricochet's improving.
Rappalucas here, Polo. Rappalucas is up in his time to keep the championship fight alive. He's going to have to steal pole away. He's not going to do that, but where does he go? 5th.
Fifth.
Polo. Wow.
Very unusual for Belgium.
Such J25 making his first start up to 15th. The
Rizal
Toro Rosso
aborts.
behind. Atlantis 16th. Rizone, yeah, does abort that one. Wow. The two Mercedes,
All
ABS
eyes on
Jarve and
Ricochet
Tax
then.
as well, yeah. Where Rumbly Fungus goes 9th. The two Mercedes, Tax
John John's
4th,
2.5 tenths up.
Jarve 10th. Yeah, John up there. Can he get in the top 5 again this season? He's got on pole twice already this season. There's a Renault behind. That's JSE Graham. Where does John go? Second!
Oh, front row.
Wow! Behind that, there's the Renault of JSE Graham. Not top 15, actually 16th right there. I thought it was going to be top 15. But where does Ricochet go? Up 16 with thousandths. Can he steal the front row away? Yes! He does it! DW
Brilliant.
completes a checkered flag as well. The two racing points coming to the line, getting some slipstream. It's Ricochet on the front row as well. An amazing start for him. The two racing points.
Something's gone wrong for Axe.
Yep, and Silent. Boker one step closer to the championship with that pole point right there. And that's what he needs. Would you mind going down the order?
I'll do the course. Mr. Boker takes yet another pole position this season. He's in a very good position to take the championship today. Ricochet on the front row as well. John starts third with Resound V4 in 4th place. AMS Tax starts 5th after a brilliant slipstream. Rapalucas 6th place. Last season pole sitter F1 driver in 7th. DW in 8th. Rumbly Fungus 9th and ABS Jarve 10th. The top 8 here within 4 tenths, which is very unusual for Spa.
Look at how close 4th through 8th is, all within a 10th. And keep in mind, outside the top 10, last week's points finisher, Jabbo MSU, Polo God, Sam Steed, Atlantis, and just some big names outside that top 10 that you're going to be looking for. And I have a question, Milo. Do you want to be starting at pole on this track? Because last season, or actually previous season, Sebastian Vettel started 2nd, got the slipstream off of Lewis Hamilton, took the lead. They were 4 wide into Lecom, and I believe Sebastian Vettel went on to win that race in 2018.
He did, yeah. He had brilliant race pace from there, of course, but memorable first laps down the years here at this track. And if I'm right in saying Ricochet starts on the outside, he can maybe cut back early into the apex of town and get a slingshot up Radion and maybe overtake him here. So it is still all eyes on Ricochet.
Yeah, what can he do? Can he get a... he's still looking for a first win. He's actually, in fact, still looking for his first league win. Think about that. What the emotion would be today from him. I don't know. I'm not in my room right now, but tell me if they're on the formation lap.
They are on the formation lap. Mr. Boker leads them away in turn 1. Right, my
actually,
3 favourites.
Hold up. Go through the 3 people we're going to curse today, actually.
Oh yeah, I remember Polo saying that.
Yeah.
The 3 people I'm going to curse. Obviously, Rapalucas still wants to try and carry over the championship as long as possible into USA next week, so he'll be aggressive off the start for sure. We got AMS Tax in 5th place as well. Good qualifying. Can he hold on to it? And of course I'm going to say Ricochet as well for the reasons I've just mentioned. He'll be trying to look for the switchback into turn 1 and making those moves down the Kemmel Straight. And potentially, if everything goes his way, strategy, safety cars, he might be able to go on and win. But we'll wait and see. There's 22 laps in front of us, and that's probably a curse.
Okay, I'll give my curse, guys. 2 of these guys are going to be a curse, probably. Alright, John as well. I have to go with him. Our previous race winner, he beat Mr. Booker at Australia. If Mr. Booker gets into some trouble today, is John the guy to, take advantage of that? He qualified just behind, Ricochet, and he's going to be the 3rd guy in line to get the slipstream. Really Ricochet being kind of the 1st guy in line. He's the 1st guy in line to get that slipstream. But John is the 3rd guy in line, 2nd guy to get the slipstream. Can he be the guy to do it? I'm also going to go with Rizone as well here in his Toro Rosso as he gets disqualified from the finish lap for making contact with someone. That was AMS Tax.
Oh.
Rizone. By the way, want to mention, a race winner before. He beat Mr. Boker Austria, a track with long straights. What does this have? Long straights. Keep in mind, Rizone starts 4th and is going to be in line to get that slipstream. 4th place was not the place to start last season because that's where a crash happened on lap 1. As well as, I'm going to go with the pole sitter, Mr. Boker. Can he win the championship today? It's all eyes are looking on him. And keep in mind, he said if he's going to, this is what he said, if he wins the championship today, he's going to start 20th in USA and Brazil. So he's setting himself up to maybe get a bigger point lead and possibly could have the largest amount of points in a single season. Riles had that last season, about 230, 240 something. Mr. Boker isn't too far away from that. So Mr. Boker could possibly do that today, and obviously, oh well, not today, but could do it with winning today for the future races. And Mr. Boker does have the lead into turn 1, so how is he going to control that?
Just quickly, Tax and Rizone, they're on cold tyres. The last thing they need up Radion.
Well, 5 red lights. Lights are about to be out here pretty soon in Spa. We're ready to come back here for a Grand Prix. When are we going to go? Lights are out. Away we go. Ricochet doesn't get the best start, but going to pull down John John. Now John goes down the inside of Boker at turn 1, makes a bit of contact. John, the first car in line for slipstream. And around goes the Alfa Romeo. In the back, there's some damage. That's F1 driver involved into the wall. JSE Graham.
Safety car.
Jebel MSU 5-second penalty for colliding with Graham. And we already have a safety car. No advantage up Rouge or up to the Kemmel Straight to get some slipstream. But already damaged. That is at the very back. Sam Steed in his Ferrari. He also Corey Marshall has to serve a 5-second or a 10-second, one of the two, today for his penalty from last week. Sam Steed, I believe, has damage. I'm not too sure, but I know Jab. I'm checking who has damage here at the back. F1 driver spun around there in lap 1.
Poor start as well for Tax. I did say he was going to have cold tyres. As with Rizone, he's lost a couple... No, sorry, 1 position. I think that is.
Damage.
I'll double check that. Yeah, there's 1 position. Rap Lucas has gained 2.
So Jebel MSU has damage. Poor start from him. As well as, I believe, someone else in the back here is damaged. If Jebel MSU is the only car to have damage already, that's not too bad. But yeah, 4th place is not the place you want to start. And by the way, up positions there. 2 for Rapalucas, 3 for Rumbly Fungus, 4 for Axe, 6 for Such J25 making his first start.
There's a lot of mixed starts throughout the field. There's loads of winners and there's loads of losers. Let's just say that. Jarb already straight into the Discord going, nice start. Yeah, nice start indeed. Up to 10th, both Mercedes right now running in the points.
I love confusing people with raining because they actually believe it, but I was going to say as well, who actually decides to pit here in lap 1? I'm curious to see. Rizone pits from lap 1.
Bold.
So
Axe
does
as well.
Axe as well. They're maybe taking on Polo Guy's strategy from Italy and taking it into consideration. DW, Jab, Polo as well. Jab does have to repair some from wing as well. Polo might. I'm looking at Polo right now. Does he have to repair wing? I know the 2 Alfa Romeos got into each other as well after all that happened. Yes, he does have to repair from wing.
Ooh, interesting.
Mediums.
Rizone for mediums.
Jab as
Axe
well.
hards, DW hards, Polo hards, Jab mediums.
So then this has some big names, or actually some big names in the league who've yet to really have good finishes. GSR Silent actually making a start in Tier 1, a little bit of, yeah, full dry race, yeah, duh. I was gonna say, in Tier 1, GSR Silent, hasn't made a start yet, but Tier 2, he's had the bad luck he's had. He's going to Tier 1 to make that start today for Jack, who is really questionable about his future in this league, I've mentioned already. So that's questionable for him. That's why James Silent is filling in. Typhoon as well in the top 10 already in the lap 1. He crashed here in the start, DNF'd in lap 1. Not even in a sector 2. He didn't even complete a sector because of how bad his start was. That's because he wrecked. So, GSR Typhoon yet to score a single points finish, yet to score a top 10. Can he do it today? Also, Such J25 making his first start as well. What could he do in the Haas? Both Haas's good start by then, 5th and 7th. They're probably noted as probably the worst team this year hate to say it, but it's probably true. The worst team this year in ARL. The why I say that is poor results in Tier 1, not even a single top 5, I don't think. Tier 2, 1 top 5. Tier 3, only one win. Or the only wins were with reserve drivers. They've not actually had a single podium, really, from drivers, full-time drivers. The field is all caught up. We should be seeing the safety car in this time. Actually not, I don't think. I also want to mention as well, Rumley Fungus up in 5th as well. A great start by him. He showed his pace earlier this season in Australia, Britain, just to name a few races. Can he possibly show his pace and get a good finish today? Oh, safety car coming next time. We're all lined up. Why don't we get restarted?
Yeah, it's odd. The game works like that. Just 3 laps, and then we're in. Doesn't matter what's
Sometimes
on the track or not.
Sometimes.
It would be nice though. Just a quick wish list. Change the subject for a moment.
Yeah.
Like actual recovery going on makes more sense instead of just driving around the safety car when nothing is on the circuit, not even debris. I'd like to see that on next gen if it's not possible on new gen and for F1 2020. But yeah, that'll be pretty cool. Make safety cars just that little bit more interesting and realistic for when we get racing, etc.
So, speaking of some of the guys at the back of the field, Atlantis just barely outside of points finish. The last 2 races, he's not had a points finish. The longest streak Atlantis has had with no points finishes. He's the only driver to do every Tier 1 race, so keep an eye out on him because he could possibly spark because he got a 6th or 8th place finish last season. It was 8th, I think. He was very quiet all race last season. Down when I sounded like I had the coronavirus because I was that sick. I don't know if I actually did, but still, that's how sick I was. And I'll be honest, like I barely could commentate that race last season. It was not good. So obviously I couldn't do post-race interviews. I couldn't do much. So obviously that didn't help. Also want to mention Sam Steed, almost a podium last week. Milo running 14th, yet to pit. Keep in mind, everyone else behind him, Rizona race winner, DW race winner, Polo got a podium finisher, Axe a podium finisher, mediums for Jab, mediums for Rizona, the rest on hards. How is this all going to go for them?
Obviously, the hard runners will definitely not need to make a pit stop, but as their grip is away, they will start to struggle. So I think the drivers electing to stay out will come back into this. Very quickly indeed, but there's still some position changing going on. Is F1 driver and Typhoon, not sure what's going on there, but yeah, I do think the people that are staying out will come straight back into the race and back into their normal position.
Alright, well safety car should be coming in this time as we head into Stavila, if that's the way I'm saying it right. Head into their safety cars coming in this lap. Now I'm really curious to see up Rouge and Radion and the Camel Straight. I'm curious to see though who is going to be getting that slipstream and able to pass someone. Boker's kind of speeding up here to get people away from him. Ricochet's actually backing up the pack a bit and trying to maybe wait to go to get a good advantage.
It's actually closing on the safety car.
Yeah, that's what Boker's actually doing. Now he's backing it up. The final chicane. This time the bus stop. Boker lining up for a restart. Now is going to go here off the fallen corner. Look at that jump he got though. Got a big jump. Look at the exit off the corner. A big exit. Down the order. ABS Jarvis pitting. Rumley Fungus trying to challenge Rappalucas, but now the slipstream into turn 1 is out of turn 1 is going to matter.
Oh, Ricochet runs in deep.
Here comes Rappalucas, what he needs. He's coming into Rouge. Now, slipstreaming the back of Ricochet. 5/10 the gap between Boker and John. Now, Rappalucas coming on Ricochet. 4th position down the Camel Straight. Here comes Rappalucas. 4P3 down the order goes Corey Marshall. Spun it up a Rouge. Rappalucas, Ricochet, side by side. Rappalucas goes through. That's what he needs. F1 driver by Typhoon. Rizone by Sam as well, the highest runner who pitted earlier on the first lap. 3/10 the gap between the race lead. Gotta know, close they got to go back and forth because, you know,
Good exit from
Rapalukas
Rizzo.
could catch it up. Yeah, Rapalukas could catch up
This
to
is
John
not
John as
an
well.
overtaking zone.
Whoa!
Oh, he's done it.
He's going to go through! Wow. Wow. Tell me about it. I didn't see the full overtake, but that was incredible. Zone has to be happy about that one. That was great. John keeping a gap pretty even with Mr. Boker. Mr. Boker, purple sector 2 as well on the restart. Now, the gap between them is 3/10 between John and Boker heading to the bus stop chicane. No DRS enabled till the lap after next lap. He's closed that gap in. Rapalukas has actually not closed that gap in. Ricochet down to 4th. You know, the good qualifying. Poor start. John, fastest lap by him. And behind that, Rumbly Fungus and AMS Tax as well. Trying to jockey for position and trying to find a way to get to that top 5 for AMS Tax. Behind that, Sam Seed side by side with Silent for P12. DW side by side with Axe. DW is going to go through. There's a bit of contact though, off the corner. Into a Rouge. There's no way they're going to go side by side. They're not going to go side by side, and they choose better of it.
Whoa, Polo, whoa!
Oh, whoa, whoa!
Whoa!
Speak about
Just a word
cutting
on
it close.
John, he's looking better on ERS as well, so it's advantage him at the moment when DRS is enabled.
Jab to the outside of Polo. A bit of contact there between the two for 16.
Oh, John's made a mistake somewhere. He's now under pressure
Whoa.
from Rapalukas.
Whoa!
Something has happened. 2.4. Cast that.
Well, now Rapalukas side by side with John. Ricochet's trying to go around the outside as well. Here he comes! Down the inside.
Rumbly Fungus going around the outside of Ricochet. Now got the inside line for turn 14. Sorry, 14.
Rumbly Fungus
Wow.
is there. He's about to move him out of the way because Ricochet just pulled out right in front of him. And the gap between the races is now 3.2. And 2 sectors ago, it was like 3/10.
Typhoon, he's gone!
Out
That
of
was
the race.
inevitable, running around the outside there. I watched that.
Out of the race for the 9th time for him. VSC.
Virtual safety car. Will anyone pit? John pits! He's
Boker
got a
can!
free
Keep
pit
that in
stop.
mind! Boker can! This is
reverse
way different
from
than
last week now.
This is, yeah, the difference from last week. Rumbly Fungus stays out. Boker, oh my god. And keep this in mind, last week Jack got held up in the pit lane as well. Jack had the speeding penalty. No one has a speeding penalty. But keep in mind with all this, what's going on. Rapalukas not held in the pit lane that time. Yep, medium tires for all of them. This actually helps them a ton. Oh my goodness. Boker's got to be lucky with another VSC if he gets one. If he gets one, he's the luckiest person ever in this league. And I've got to say that right now. If he gets one. DW trying to charge on Silent. He's at a racing point sandwich right now. This is under the VSC. Atlantis is up to 4th place right now. Rumbly Fungus in the highest running position he's ever been in. Same with Silent in Tier 1. Now DRS is enabled. Now we go back to the green flag. And where John is at, he's actually pulled away from Rapalukas a ton. Well, speaking of close, DW's in this racing point sandwich between GSR Silent and GSR Axe. He has to find a way out of this because he's on the hard tires. Silent started on the mediums. DW has already pitted along with Axe, along with Polo God. But Rizone, speaking of him, he's already pitted. Look how much behind he's behind Boker. 7.4. Boker's going to have to pit this lap. Boker's going to have to. He has no other choice.
Just looking at the gap back to John, it's 15.3 seconds. Wow. So, as it stands, John will be ahead by about 5 seconds or so, as pit stop is average 20.
Shocked there why he didn't pit this time. I would have expected him to. Now DW gets by GSR Silent into the bus stop chicane.
Okay, Zig.
Axe is charging
Axe
his
on
teammate.
Silent.
Axe getting beat by his teammate as well. Silent dives it in a
Oh,
little bit deep
Polo.
there. Paulo goes into silent. John's on the back of this train as well. This is now where he wants to get caught because right now the gap between him and Boker is 15.5, but the gap between him and Rapalukas is 1.8. Oh my God, what a slide! Oh my God! Now for P6, silent, Polo, Axe. They almost cut the collide.
3 wide.
3 wide. This ain't gonna work. Polo backs it out. Axe and silent side by side. The two teammates at racing point. John's getting held up by this, and look how much Rapalukas is catching up. 1.5
so
the gap
time. A lock up there from Axe.
The gap between Boker and John now is 16.6. JetBlue MSU 3-second time penalty. Polo on silent, he ran wide. And now Rapalukas is within DRS, and now Ricochet's pulling along F1 driver as well. Silent loses it, goes off. John
needs to get the move done, he can't.
Now he does. Side by side hits the curb, Silent goes a bit wide. Wow, that is close.
I thought he was going to hit the wall.
Now,
crazy.
They've wasted 2 seconds of time trying to catch Boker. John Rapalukas all have wasted 2 seconds. Rapalukas not as much, but still, he's farther back than he wants to be. And now he's farther closer though to John, which is better for him. Now John needs to get a move on Polo. So yet to pit in this race is Boker, Rumbly Fungus, Atlantis, and I believe the rest of the drivers have pitted. WX Polo have. Zone is in with you with DRS range.
Polo spun. At the top of Radion, he's lost it mid-corner.
And that's a VSC, and this saves Boker, I think.
I don't think. I think we'll be green before the end of the lap, though.
You never know where Boker is at. I mean, it's tough because this is a long racetrack. Yeah. Yeah, so this allows Ricochet to be in between, Silent to be in between them. And yeah, now the DRS is enabled, but there's still yellow flags. There's still yellow flags.
Not sure what's that for. Might be a glitch on our end.
I pause and unpause. There's no more yellow flags, but it still shows Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 3. Corey Marshall's just come out of the pits now. Does Mr. Boker pit this time? The gap between John and Boker has actually closed up to what it originally was, 16.0, which is a lot better now.
Here comes Rizzo on the inside of Bodchimon. He's got a good restart on Rumbly Fungus.
2 great moves from Rizzo. And Boker pits.
Oh, Polo's slowing again.
Now, Rizzone's going to lead this race. Rizzone leads
else
this
has
race.
happened. Silent is around.
That's at Blanchimont. Trying to let the drivers go through because you don't want to get in the way. Whoa! JetBlue MSU almost hit him there. And pitting for the mediums is the rest of the drivers, everyone who stayed out that time, pits. So with all this, it goes Rizzone,
Ricochet's
DW,
ahead as well.
John Boker, or John Ricochet Boker. So Ricochet's actually behind this pack. And now F1 driver through Rouge. Oh my God! How they did not crash, I do not know.
That was brilliant.
He saw Boker way much slower. F1 driver just gone through. He has to be happy about that one.
This is a crazy order now. Obviously Boker on the freshest tyres at the end of this top 8 train, which was exceptionally close in qualifying.
Boker's gonna dive down the inside. F1 driver's still there pinching him, and Boker goes through. So the gap between John and Boker is about 2 seconds. So a safety car would save everything. And in general, what would also save everything is if anyone crashes in front and involves, say, John or them. But John's getting stuck behind Axe, which is not helping at the same time. Now the gap between the race lead is DW on the podium. DW has yet to have a podium. His last podium was back at round 10 last season. This would be a whole season he'd go without a podium. This race, he'd get that. Season without a podium. John through Bunchemont into the bus stop chicane. He's coming on Axe
Inside of
to
outside.
the left side. Axe is pitching him there to the grass. John around the outside.
He's going to keep it in.
Oh, a little bit of contact. Wheel banging off the corner. Boker's at the back of this train as well as F1 driver. Now Rappalucas charging. John's going to go down the inside. He's not waiting anymore. Side by side up to a Rouge. And now Axe is still ahead. How the hell? Penalty for John.
It's the first major penalty for the front runners this race. John does go through. Here comes Rappalucas as well.
F1 driver and Boker as well too. John goes through. Mr. Boker, F1 driver, Boker keeps ahead of F1 driver. Look at this six-car train, yeah. Wow.
But as it stands though, with Rappalucas scoring 10 points, Mr. Boker 7 with the pole point, Mr. Boker still wins the championship as it stands.
Yeah, that is true, because he's only 4 points ahead, and Boker had that pole point as well. Keep that in mind. So now Axe has got to hold up this train of Rappalucas and everyone else behind, because he kind of did the favor for Boker at first. He's not gonna let Edwin by easily. Axe is sitting here fighting for a good position on these hards. Oh, he runs wide!
Oh.
Again, that corner. That same every time. And F1 driver trying on Boker. He was close enough, not too close to make a move. Axe runs wide.
Rappalucas switch back.
Axe runs wide though. Rappalucas goes through. Axe is still side by side. Axe doesn't have DRS, but Ricochet does. Ricochet, where does he go? Down the inside he goes. At turn 1. Ricochet might have clipped Axe there, but Axe is still hanging around the outside. Boker there as well. They're side by side. Oh, that was not going to end well if they kept it like that. And they did not. Boker actually lost time up a Rouge. The F1 driver's getting on him. Behind that, or actually in front of that, there's Rappalucas, Ricochet, Axe, all battling. Axe coming, not close enough. All in this 5-car train now that John's pulled away. And look at the gap John Rappalucas have got. 1.2 and Polo got. Fastest lap for him.
Here comes Mr.
Keep in
Boker.
mind. Down the inside. Side by side, a bit of contact. Remember, Axe's brother's team is Renault, and Axe is racing his brother's team with Mr. Boker right here. Keep in mind about that. John, 11.9 seconds behind the leader. Boker, 14.8. So now that's 3 seconds, that is, between them. Behind that same seed, Such all close, and Atlantis behind that as well. Silent not close enough to Polo God as well. The gap race lead. Rizone leading. Head of DW, John behind that, John trying to charge, and what would change everything? A safety car would, just imagine.
The scenes, Rizone could maybe pit for another set of mediums, or even softs at this stage. That'll be
Mr.
great.
Boker from the bus stop chicane, down the inside of Axe, he might make this work, pushes him wide!
Whoa.
Oh, he hits him again, part of his front wing, but no wings broken there. And now F1 driver trying to challenge his old teammate. Gonna go down the inside. Boker ahead. And now Boker's got a challenge to Ricochet. A bit of contact between F1 driver and Axe. Boker gaining on Ricochet now up a Rouge. Boker's lost time to the front guys. 15.2 behind.
Here
now
comes
there's
F1
almost
driver.
4 seconds as well. Here he comes.
F1 driver,
double overtake.
move.
3 wide.
3 wide.
And F1 driver ahead out of that. The overtakes in this
What?
race have been incredible.
Ricochet's struggling now.
Oh my goodness. Same with Axe. Axe has been struggling the past few laps. And look who's at the back of this train with Rumbly Fungus. Tax. Tax was up front most of the rate. Well, most of the qualifying session. Stayed top 5 where he's at now. Gaining on this pack of cars. But now the F1 driver's had a Boker. Oh, he hit the curb right there. Boker is still behind John a ton. That's almost 4 seconds right there that he's behind. Lucas has gained his gap to John. If Lucas passes John, I'm thinking here 15 and 8 points. That's 7 points. I don't think he keep the championship fight alive. Would he, Milo?
Sorry, repeat that.
Would he keep the championship fight alive if Lucas gets by John and Boker stays 6th?
So
I don't think
Lucas
so.
would have 15 points.
Boker would have
Mr.
9.
Boker would have 9. No, that's 6 points. He needs to outscore by 8 to keep it going.
Rizone leading this race. Boker not even on the podium. Keep that in mind. Boker gaining an F1 driver off of La Source. Well, 2/10 separate them. DRS enabled this time. Lucas gaining on John. Not enough in the straight because he's in no ERS. But now, Boker, an F1 driver, where does he go? He goes down the inside on him. Side by side. And he goes ahead, but he pulls back in front of him under the braking. Bit dangerous.
Rumbly Funks is ahead of Tax in that battle we just previously mentioned. So they'll be looking to go after GSR Axe, who pit very early on.
Now John catches up to DW on the hards while trailing his teammate Lucas. Milo, Graham needs an invite to the session, he said. I know he's out of the race, but he said he wanted an invite to the session.
Okay.
I'm thinking
that then.
Alright, so lap 13 on 22, we've only seen 2 safety cars, I want to say? Have we? No, 2 VSCs, 1 safety car. That's what I was thinking. So 8.5 between the race lead. They're not really I don't see them catching Rizone too much. DW is slightly, because Rizone's probably keep taking it easy. And John, while that's all happening, as Corey Marshall picks up a penalty, while that's all happening, John actually is catching slightly. He was catching DW. Now DW's lost time to... It's vice versa from last week. Boker the unlucky one. I'm telling you, vice versa from last week. I'm telling you, it's the thing. AMS Tax close to Rumbly Fungus. Behind that, Such J25 runs wide at turn 1, but close to CMC and Atlantis as well. Battling for 11th. What could be a points position if someone bottles it or something happens, but F1 driver gaining on Boker. It's not enough, though. Now, John is catching up to Lucas. Do you think DW would have fight hard because of that? I mean, picks up a penalty, though.
Does. I think that's the second penalty after John, isn't it, for this major battle right now?
Yeah. While this happens, Rizone leads. He's got to be careful on the tires. He's gone to the mediums, so he's got to be careful on the tires. He pitted on lap 1. Stops in this race, and the positions gained. 6 for DW, 3 for Rizone, 2 for Lucas, 4 loss for Boker, 5 loss for Ricochet, and 5 loss for Jarv. But while that 3 gain for Sam and Such, and 4 gain for Atlantis as well.
Just having a look at the warnings, Rizone has no warnings, DW has 1 warning, but then we go on to John, who currently has 4 warnings, which includes a penalty. Lucas, no warnings. Mr. Boker, no warnings. F1 driver, obviously just got the penalty. Ricochet on 2 warnings. So this could all still be decided.
You just commentated Curse Ricochet, nice one.
Okay, nice. Yeah, everyone's starting to close on the leader now.
Yeah, they are. 8.2, Mr. Boker, fastest lap right there for him. And now he's trying to close up to this train of cars for a podium position, while F1 driver's challenging him. Keep in mind, this race was won off of Fire Milo. No, never gonna do that. By the way, I was gonna say, speaking of that, another commentary with us 2 next season as well for season 3 on F1 2020. Happy to see that as well for Tier 1. Us 2 back in the booth.
Whoa.
So it's great to see. AMS Tex and Rumbly Fungus for position. AMS Tex pulls out to the right side on Rumbly Fungus, goes through, but is he clear yet? I don't think so. And Tax is clear now. Oh, but not anymore.
But Tax makes a
Runs
mistake.
wide. Atlantis and such were going side by side for a moment, and yeah, Tax loses that position again, while Boker is one step closer to DRS. .7 now between the race lead. You can see Razone's mediums are kind of falling off just a little bit. It goes back and forth between DW and Razone, but somehow DW has kept it clean. So might as well do it.
Razone might consider pitting and coming out in that battle. Actually, he might be in 10th if he pits. So it's a massive risk, but it's whether he feels if he can get the tyres to the end or and keep this lead. He will stay out as we start lap 16.
Boker now is close back to the back of the train still. He's kept his gap pretty even, but with Rappalucas and John kind of being held up by DW again here. 1.0 is that gap in yellow flags. That's Axe out of the race!
Oh no.
Where is that?
Final corner.
That brings out a VSC.
Virtual.
Was that a rage? I don't know.
I don't know.
Now
It's
Boker closes his gap to Rappalucas as well. Where that car was, you know where that car was. It could possibly be full throttled into that last the last
very
stop
easy to
chicane, I
do.
think a runoff area. Yeah, but now this puts Sam Steed, who's in the battle with Such J25 and Atlantis, into a points position. Now the gap between DW and Razone is about 10 seconds.
down to 8.5 now, just difference in deltas, I think, right now.
.0, 8.9. I'm looking at the gap. The gap is really closed down. Well, really closed out, actually. And now he's getting part of that back. So, Corey Marshall pits as well. Paulo God down in 17th. Still in this race. Not as much retirements as last season, though. I was happy about that. Sam Steed picks up a penalty, but now 7.1, 6.5.
Wow.
Rather made a big mistake, or DW kind of used that to his advantage. Where and he's pulled out a ton, actually. Look at that with John and Rappalucas and Boker. Look at that. Wow. Boker on the fresher mediums, keep that in mind. So no matter what, I think the podium right now would be Razone, DW, Rappalucas with all the penalties, yellow flags. Who is that?
Not sure, but it's quickly cleared. Might just be another glitch. Game seems to hate us today.
Yeah, VSC ending, of course, probably part of that. 6.4 between the race lead. You see how much is closed in. Razone's tires, will they start to die out, Milo, or will it just be even? There's another yellow flag again. That's Atlantis right there. I thought that was ABS Jar for a minute. But JetBlue MSU gaining on ABS Jarvis. Well, ABS Jarvis goes around! Jab taps him as well after that. No damage for Jarv. Jarv spun it off the curb. Another yellow flag as well. That's probably Jarv still. Now here comes Rappalucas. Rappalucas down the inside on the Kemmel Straight. He goes through.
That was a crucial move. I had to make that statement, but it was a crucial move. He's got to keep Boker behind him for as long as possible, and Rappalucas has an opportunity to go on here and try and catch up to DW, and then the big target, Rizal. There's about 5.5 laps to go in this race.
I think, I was gonna say DW with the VSC glitch. I was kind of noticing that. Paulo God 45.3. I was gonna say as well, with DW, keep in mind of what's going on. DW's yet to get a single penalty. Yeah, Ryan wants to invite Milo just lobby.
XR Ryan?
Yes.
Or you?
Yellow flag. That's Paulo God out of the race.
Oh.
Upper Rouge. Will that cause a safety car? Still yellow flags.
We've had
VSC.
another virtual. So this is it then. This is the final full caution we can get. We've had one safety car and 4 virtual safety cars in this race, which means we've hit the game limit since the update. Obviously, it was made more frequent, but there's also a limit. And thus, we're going to have a full sprint to the end without any more cautions.
Another VSC for DW to gain time, right? I mean, yeah, I'm curious about Razone's tires. 16 laps on those mediums. Will they last, Milo? I think DW's hards probably will, but Razone's mediums, it's a question of if it will.
I'm going to have a look at the lap times, actually. So,
Yeah.
Razone,
Good idea.
he's running low 48s, high 47s. DW is running, he ran a low 47 as his personal best on lap 15. So he's still getting every last bit out of those tyres. Rapalucas, low 47s as well, just a little bit quicker. John, low 47s. So everyone's quite equal on pace at this stage. So the tyres are all just starting to match each other. But I think right now on the hards, DW could be in luck.
In time again, yeah. I'm thinking what could happen, you know, you got to think of every possible situation, every situation that happens, or everything that you can guess. Keep in mind in this situation, in the train, F1 driver and Ricochet have caught back up to that train. That's now a 5-car train. They've caught back up to it. And yeah, people were talking about the VSC glitch. People have caught up with that. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I know it's a rule, but I don't think that's something I can police. Like, I can't just say, oh, hey, live stream the race, we'll look at that. You know, we don't know. I mean, you don't know if someone slowed down as much. You know, unless they have a stream. I mean, we don't know. That's the thing. So I'm not too sure. He was 1.5, now he's 0.5. Yeah, that's a questionable thing. Ricochet has actually backed off of this pack now. And Ricochet was in contention for a podium last season. Was penalized for the crash with Braves, allowing Bama Outlaw to get that podium. Yellow flags.
Another yellow flag. Jarve
Yes,
again.
Jarve. Yup, and the Mercedes.
They're fresh tyres as well, so it's a bit of a surprise.
John was close enough for an overtake, couldn't get it done. And again, Razone leading this race. Can he nurse the tires home? The gap between John DW, you know, 1.8, but the gap between Razone and Rapalucas, 7.0, 6.9 now. Nice. Big question. Kind of curious. This 4 drivers out of the race already. Pitting is silent. F1 drivers kind of backed off this pack as well a little bit compared to Ricochet. AMS taxed the same seat, getting on Rumbly Fungus. Rumbly Fungus on for, I believe, his second best result of the season. Haas, and probably Haas's best result. I think their best result is 7th with Rumbly Fungus. So not sure. But the race lead again, 4.8 as we head to the final 3 laps this time. And out of turn 1, silent pits. Corey Marshall comes out right near him. And near that is ABS Jarve, hitting into the wall, actually. Oh, it's the curb! Goes around up a Rouge! There goes ABS Jarve!
Oh, wow. I'm
Down
surprised
to
that's not a
16 now.
puncture
I
from
thought it was for a
the
minute.
wall riding he just did.
Now, yeah, people have been speculating from the chat. Razone's tires are gone now. And Riss has to hope DW
I
gets a
think-
pen. Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
Razone's penalties look like. Let me check that, actually. He's very good, honestly, with that. DW, 1 warning. Rapalucas,
Remember though,
no warnings.
it's all about
John
the
has a
championship
point
right
as
now.
well,
Williams.
John's second
Williams
penalty.
looking about. Well, there we go. So, just back to championship permutations. Williams, as it stands, scoring 33 to Mr. Boca's 12 with, well, Renault's 12 with those penalties. So that closes up. The championship fight continues. It's not been wrapped up today. And the Drivers' Championship, Mr. Boca has won. If things stay as they are, everyone though closing into reserve. We're in for an
good streak.
interesting final lap if Rizal's tyres don't make it.
I'm gonna check the lap times. Look at Razone's best lap time, 147.1. He was on a streak of 147s and 148s. That last lap had the VSC, I'm pretty sure, lap 18. But that last lap was
18, yeah.
147.7. And then obviously the VSC was laps before as well. Those
DW's
two
just
VSCs
done
back to
another
back.
personal best. And he's on
There you go.
he's on a personal best lap now. DW is absolutely flying.
Can he win this race? That's my question. He could possibly win this
the
race.
scenes. The
The
scenes.
scenes, the memes. Think about it. DW went back to victory since a season ago. Race 10, Germany was last time. Oh my God! F1 drivers closing that gap with the VSC glitch, which is a bit questionable. But right now, one more lap. One more lap to see to the final lap. If Mr. Boker gets that championship right now, where he's at with John, he could possibly do this. 4.6 now between Rizone and DW. Rizone up the hill. Yeah, you can see he's backing it off a ton. But there's probably going to be one time where he's more careful than the others. It's fun watching people go up Rouge. It's just so fun. Ricochet still is in a good contention for 6th place because of John's penalty that he has. And yeah, Rizone has had 3 VSCs as well to save these tires. Well, actually 4 of them, to be honest. He didn't words
And a safety car.
Yeah, and a safety car. So yeah, he has. AMS Tax goes by Rumbly Fungus, but there's a bit of contact for P8. AMS Tax goes ahead, and now Rumbly Fungus into the back.
Damage.
Oh.
So Sam could potentially take P9, maybe P8.
Corey Marshall picks up a penalty, but now the gap between Rizone and DW is 4 seconds. 4 seconds between them. 3.9, you see the gap, it's closing.
The pace that DW's got is not currently enough to be able to get him. He's about 4 or 5 tenths quicker a lap with a longer race. Brilliant.
Amazing pace from him. I mean, great pace from DW. If only he could do this every race, I'd love to see it. He's got his pace much better than before, but he needs to do this every race. He needs to. Not just say, I'm around, screw this. No. No. Oh, Rappalucas just got a hit from John right there at the bus stop chicane as we reach the final lap of the Grand Prix. He got a hit from Rappalucas, John did. And now Boker down the inside, a little bit of contact. Boker forces his way through.
He wants to beat Rappalucas on track just to seal the deal in this championship. He's got one more lap to do. He's pushing hard on the ERS.
Upper Rouge for the final time of the Grand Prix. Here comes John. Back at it. Penalties don't really matter, do matter, but he's forced in the grass. He forced him in the grass, Mr. Boker did, and he was saying, you're not getting through right there. The 3.7 gap between Rizone and DW now. DW looking for his first podium since Germany last season. F1 driver John sideways. They almost go around. F1 drivers ahead. Bit of lag there.
John's
goes
really
back
struggling.
Rappalucas has a chance to overtake DW. Boker, a chance not to be on the podium. John really just got moved out of the way and pushed into the grass there for the final time. He's got to keep it a few more corners clean for Rizone to take his 2nd win.
Brilliant stint on those tyres, by the way. Really well done from Rizone. Good qualifying pace as well.
This time, coming to Blanchimont, the bus stop chicane for the final time. We're going to watch 2nd, but now Rizone heading into the bus stop chicane for the final time. It's going to be Rizone taking. It's going to be Rizone taking the win. Mr. Boker seals his championship with a dominating season.
He knows
Boker
it.
wins the championship, but not a podium. Rizone's 2nd win. DW in the podium again.
Can we get the biggest round of applause we've ever seen for DW? Wow.
Honestly.
Double Williams podium. I'll take that.
Now he's left the session, yeah.
Good week for Williams.
And John down to 7. F1 driver up to a top 5. Second win. I was nervous about that one. That was interesting. Oh.
Yes!
There the emotion from Williams. A double podium. Oh my God. Wow. Well, Atlantis has got passed by Corey Marshall while Atlantis is doing donuts. Silent retires already, I was mentioned, but wow, great. Shocking one. Well, your teammate Rizone is doing some burnouts. For you winning, I guess, right? Gotta be something.
Yeah. Dylan's goated.
Yes, boys. Oh, Milo. I said it before. I was wrong. I was gonna win, but close to
Oh,
win.
you were close. A lot, yeah.
Closer
a
than
longer
before.
race, you had that.
First podium since
Yeah.
Germany. How about that?
Fuck, you know.
Fucking
Same
go.
as last
race
season.
11,
though.
innit?
Same as last
Race
season.
11.
P2.
Yeah, race 11. Last season was round 10. Going a full season without a podium. Time it matters for the constructors as well.
Yeah, we violated them.
Speaking of that, yeah, 33 points for you guys, 13 for Boker, and Renault. So with all that, 40 points behind in the constructors. You guys are now within a race, Williams. It's gonna look good.
And Bogle
Alright,
might
so,
get bent for shoving off John.
Yeah, I
he
was
needs
gonna
a
say
big
about
penalty
that.
for that. He yeeted him off the track. I think that should be
So,
immediate disqualification.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Still, either way, a championship that Boker wanted today. Helped out with P4 in the pole point.
Oh.
Anyways, Rizone, I gotta talk to you first. Second win! Straight line tracks, you gotta love it. Austria, Belgium, 2 tracks that are dominant on straight line speed. Alright,
Easy
well,
win.
I gotta tell you, you hit it early. 21 laps on those mediums, really. 20, 21, something like that. You had so many laps on those mediums. You kept your lap times very consistent. And again, tell me about it. Second win.
Way of now hard. Just go linear
Make
none
sure your audio's
through
clear.
the whole sector too. And then
Yeah,
just
man.
use it on the straights. And then
Yeah,
touch the
last
curb.
laps, your tyres were fucking going off, mate. I was texting you by second lap.
Second the lap.
I was leading none the
Yeah.
most time. But I saw you
Yeah,
gaining.
You could.
It went from
you-
like
yeah,
8
you-
seconds to 4 or 3.
Yeah, 3 at the end. So I was hoping that you had a pen or something, so I could get P1 and get my thing I said before the race. But that was great, man. But what were your tires on? They should have
Like
they probably were
70%.
80. Oh, not even that bad. Oh, for now. My tires were 60 with the hards. They were got slow in the beginning.
So Rizone, this is your second win now. Toro Rosso, do it. You know, yesterday you guys got a new, well, before earlier in the week, you guys got a new driver. Was leading, was going to be on podium possibly, had the chance to do so. Obviously,
Then he did a
stayed after the
madness.
race from the lead. And now I guess it's redemption from that from yesterday with Tier 2. You guys going to possibly be in the chance to do so. And bad race from you guys yesterday, good race from you today. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's alright, I guess. Since Toro Rosso won a championship in Tier 3. We can't really do much anymore, so I'm just gonna fight for a position in whatever the standings are.
Yeah, you're going for third. Tell me about it. The battle for third with you. Tell me about that because you're still in contention for that battle. You're still there. You have a chance. Is that chance still there? Or do you see it happening for third?
Depends how John does. Sam had a shit result, so
So did John. He finished like 6th.
that's because he had the pen with it.
Yeah, he had
si-
6 seconds of pens.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Assist merchants do be getting pens.
That's true though. Since I went off traction, I get less pens.
Yeah, but you just spin. Left-handed more spins.
You don't last long enough in the race to get
Yeah,
penalties.
yeah.
Oh,
He was out of the race
fuck you.
before.
Well, I've got to ask Razone. a pad truck next, USA, and Brazil after that for the finale. How do you feel about your chances there by winning or even be on the podium again?
USA, I won't be there. I think penalties will fuck me. Brazil, I'm good there, so fine.
Oh, congratulations on the win. Second win of the season. Second win for you. Glad to see that for you. Milo, do you have any questions for the race winner?
I know the season's not over yet. We've still got 2 to go, but just on to next season now that we're getting the champions crowned, etc. Just what tracks and just in general, like, what do you think will benefit you next season for a better shot at the championship?
Consistency.
No spin
Short
out.
one
It's
word
key.
answer.
That's all I can really say. Just
Yeah,
retired so much at the start of the season. There's just no point.
Yeah, that is true. Congratulations on the win. DW 1612 Tim.
Yes.
Oh man, first podium in a season. It took you a season. It took you to the end of the season. Well, we still have 2 races left, but still, it took you a while to get that podium you wanted. You've been in contention so many times. Austria, Germany, many other races that I can name, but in general.
Spinella.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Make sure your audio is included, of course, because that race for you was probably your best race yet this season. You outraced Boker, you outraced Rapalucas, and you had the chance to pass for zone. You got into the hards. Did you wish you maybe gone to the mediums instead, or no?
If I look back, I risked it. Yes, I would
Nah,
have.
but you would have
Would have
spun,
been
come on,
fine. Okay, so yeah, I'm happy I went to the heights. When John came behind me, I thought I was going to get overtaken. Then on the safety car restart, he lost like 1.5 seconds. I don't know what he did, but that was a bit shit. And then then they were just fighting, and I just kept the same gap till Lucas overtook them. Then I helped him a bit by giving slipstream, and I finally, for good luck, he didn't get close enough. 1 lap extra, and he would have overtaken me 100%.
Nah, I wouldn't have passed you. I didn't want to pass you anyway.
Yes, boy.
Well, regardless, everyone talks about it so much. Everyone says it in the community. Oh, Spinella DW. Oh, is this DW 1612 with all the spins and all this stuff that happens? You know, you've cost yourself many chances at having a race like this, and now you actually have it. What do you have to say to those people who are always like, oh, Spinella, DW? You know, I mean, you know it yourself, but
They're
what
right.
do you have to say now?
They
You
are
got a
fucking
podium.
right.
Fucking good. Yeah, fucking good.
Yeah, they're right. So yeah, I don't know what to say. I just messed it up a lot of times. Yeah, I was happy I could get past X. X just held the other guys up for like 10 laps or something. Oh, yeah, that was good.
I was gonna say, you beat your teammate for the first time this season.
Yes.
In fact, for the Constructors Championship, you guys close up to 40 points. Now that depends on Booker's post-race penalty if it happens or what. With the John incident, that all depends because
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
incident
Nah,
last
it's
lap.
Boker. He won't get a pen, obviously.
I was gonna say as well, you guys gained in the Constructors Championship as well. How do you feel?
We
about
will
WW?
see. We will see. Oh yeah. I don't know how we're even in because I scored like 13 points in all of the season. So a rapid to be carrying. So yeah, I'm happy we're still P2. I think P2. Or P2?
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'm happy. I'm happy I at least contributed now a bit because 13 points is nothing. Now I at least have 31 points. Yes.
There you go. I mean, you're up there in the standings now. You're up closer to a midfield fight. So congratulations on P2. And Milo, do you have any questions for DW1612?
hello DW1612. Congratulations. Does this boost your confidence now to try and get more good results in the final 2 races, or are you just gonna call it a day and go fucking gay?
Well, what's next race? It's Brazil, right?
No, it's
no,
USA
USA.
next.
Wait, what?
Doesn't even know.
Wait.
Check
Wait,
the
what-
schedule. It will say USA.
Oh, USA. Oh.
Dylan,
I'll
we know you're
just
not the
spin
cleverest of
whenever,
guys, but it's only 3 letters.
What?
U, S, and A.
whenever B&B
Simple.
is gonna say Dylan hasn't spun yet, like 5 seconds
said that
after
in
I'll
the
probably
race.
spin.
I said that in the race. Keep that in mind.
That's typical USA for me. No, yeah. I'm just happy I actually finished the race for once,
Good.
and we will see what it does for the next races.
Congratulations on P2. I gotta go to the P3 finisher. Rappa Lucas. Hey,
Thanks, mate.
you know,
Surprise,
Boker gets the
motherfucker.
championship. Boker gets the championship. I know you would have preferred it, but tell me about your season. It's been a string of bad luck a little bit at the start, back and forth
not
with
really.
you. But regardless, you got a podium today. Your teammate got a podium. Double Williams podium today. You gotta be happy about that at least.
Yeah, it was alright. I had a good race. John just decided to go into AI mode about 3 minutes into like at the start, and just lost us about like 4 seconds, which could have been critical in the end for catching Reese, but you know, tough. And then GSL Axe just, you know, he had a championship that he was fighting for clearly. Yeah, overall, it was a good race, good points, and I'm glad that Dylan's on the podium.
Yeah, so Williams on the podium with both drivers this season in Tier 1 for the first time. You guys are close in the constructor standings. You know, some positives out of a day where there were some negatives with the championship and drivers. So you got to be happy about that, of course. And now heading to the final 2 races, USA and Brazil. How do you feel about those 2?
Huh?
How do you feel about the final 2, USA and Brazil?
Oh. Well, obviously, USA last season was kind of a dead race for me. Just didn't really have the pace. Axe was probably faster than me that race, which is a bit of a violation. And then Brazil, well, I don't have very good memories from there. After, you know, last night, but we won't get into that. But yeah, it's an alright track, whatever. At least Ryan and Andrew aren't racing, so I should be fine.
So in the next season then, this season you challenged Boker at some races. He challenged you at most of the races. So speak to us about what you need to do to improve your championship hopes next season, to get better in the races to beat Boker.
Well, the only way I'm going to beat him is if Cody's nerf pad, so... yeah. No, I just think, to be honest, for the tail end of the season, most of the season, it just there wasn't the same kind of motivation as there was before. It's like, I haven't improved any of my time trial time since, like, I first set them on some tracks. And yeah, just kind of a lack of motivation, but for next season, obviously, I'll be back remotivated, and yeah, hopefully that'll be enough to beat Mr. Boak.
Well, congratulations on P3, the podium. And,
Yeah, I just-
Milo, do you have any questions for Rappa Lucas? What were you going to say, actually, Rappa Lucas? Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say well done to James on the championship. He did everything he had to do. He was the most consistent, and yeah, he won. So yeah, well done, mate.
Alright, Milo, do you have any questions for Rappa?
Obviously, it's unfortunate that this battle couldn't go all the way, but from your perspective, what do you think you could have done differently earlier in the season to try and get... Yeah, but Bahrain for a start, but anything else?
Well, sort of, I think mainly just, I did practice, but I just feel like in the heat of the moment, I made some silly decisions, whether it be strategy or just getting a penalty when I shouldn't have, or just picking like the wrong fight and losing myself too much time. There's just been moments in the season where I haven't particularly been ready for a certain situation. I paid for it, and I think for next season I'll be more aware of factors that can play, because obviously last season it was quite a smooth kind of championship apart from the internet issues, and there was not really contact of people. There wasn't that much racing because obviously the field was a lot more spread out. And so this season's obviously been a lot tighter. I mean, from 4th to 8th, we were covered by, I think, half a 10th or something. So everyone's so close to each other, and it becomes really difficult. You have to like be aware and ready for anything to happen. And I think I wasn't very ready for those things. I just expected everything to be plain sailing, and obviously it wasn't.
Congratulations on P3 one more time, and I want to talk to the champion now, Mr. Boker. By the way, congratulations on the champion. I think well deserved in my own eyes. But from what I'm told from that last lap, you are the biggest piece of shit ever. So, what happened there with John on the last lap, and the Camel Straight?
Oh yeah. I just first corner he had a shit exit, so I was like, I know he braked early, so I was down the inside and got that done. Then I was pretty kind of close to Vapor, but I just didn't have the greatest one for Rouge. And I gave him the outside line because I was on the inside, and then he just decided to go to the inside, and I was like, there wasn't space on the inside because I gave him space to the outside. So then he was on there, and Graham saw it and was like, okay, if that's a penalty, the shoes are biased as fuck. And from my own onboard, I didn't decide to clip it because nothing was wrong, and there's nothing really bad happened. It was just I gave him the outside, and he just decided to go into the inside and not. And he shouldn't. And he had 6 seconds worth anyway. So why he's tried to go for it is not. It's just his wrongdoing. He shouldn't. He knows that he would finish behind due to penalty. So I don't think he should have done a move because he just loses more time battling. But it's more of a racing incident in my eyes. I see. He should have been on the outside because I gave him the outside, but maybe I could have like put my car a little bit more to the outside for him, but I gave him the outside, and then that's what I stick to. So it was more of a racing incident in my eyes. He might see as a bit something more in his eyes, but
or more to the inside. So you clearly got the outside. So.
So, a great season from you. Still got 2 races left, of course, but you steal the championship. How do you feel about that? Because I'm sure you got to be happy about 6 wins in this season, 7 wins in the 12 races. Obviously, not being on the podium today wasn't, the best, but you still challenged for that too. We could say the VSC kind of helped you last week, but the VSC screwed you over this week. Vice versa with that. How did you feel about all that happening?
Oh yeah, you said about the safety car. Wow, I was just reading the fucking chat.
VSC.
Yeah, that was just unfortunate. But I knew with I saw the safety car. And I was, of course, I think it was Polo who being Graham. That's what he said. But that's just Graham's to talk about. Because I don't know what happened. But so I was debating to pit because I knew that Meebs could go to the end, but as I'm fine, I've got a championship to lose really, so I decided, and there's slower cars who are arguably a bit dirty, so I decided to stay out. And I saw that Reese, Axe and DW Fuel was pitted. I was like, okay, they'll probably have to chase them down then. So, which ultimately Reese ended up winning, and then the VSC. There's just John who went into AI mode. And I think he saw that. He must have, or wouldn't have. But yeah, he decided to go into AI mode and literally hold up everyone. I was like, oh, I don't want to gain a lead like this. I was debating to slow down, like honestly, but I didn't do that. But then this VSC came out and I missed the pit lane, so it was just like shit. And then another VSC happened, but it was too late or too early to pit, and then so I was gonna come out in like I think it was 7th or 6th, and then after that I saw I'd be out in 10th, and I'd be like, what on earth has happened? And like I was literally just about green as well, so I had no clue how I was gonna be 10th after that, so it's just really weird to see that. And then yeah, it's just unfortunate I missed the pit lane, a bit for VSC, but it is what it is. I had the pace, but like I was immediately close. Well, didn't immediately, but I was closing to Rapper extremely quickly, and even more laps. I probably could have overtook both Rapper and DW, but it is what it is. It's P4, I'll take it. It's whatever it is for a championship at the end of the day.
That is right. This is for the championship at the end of the day. It don't always matter about the race wins, but the race wins, you've dominated this season. Ever since you came in, you've won 7 of the 12 races. Speak to me about how dominant you've been, and just the kind of side of yours that you've kind of had here. You know, winning the races, being in the podium every race, except for Britain and today. Speak to me about that, because Britain, obviously, the post-race penalty was a part of that with the late race safety car, and today, just kind of the VSC caused that, and just in general, only got 4th with you.
Well, it's not really, it's nothing really nothing how I really do it. It's just, I think you know, but I used to have like a broken controller, so it was really, I couldn't really gain pace, but I was able to adapt, and it was really, and then it just got too broke, so I just got my new controller, and I gained a fuck ton of pace immediately, and I've been gaining pace ever since, but I've not, like, there's a few times, like, my China time, I literally can't improve, but there's times where it takes quite a few laps, but I can still improve, which is what some others can't do. Like, I see Rapper recently, he's not really been in the, what do you call it, well, he's not been up there as much, so he's not, I think he's found more of a just peak of where his pace is, or he's just completely not really motivated, which I can see because it's the end of the game. I can't really be motivated myself, but there's a lot of time where I'm just bored, so sometimes I just do a bit of time trial, and just then whatever I'm satisfied with, I'll just go and do something else. But towards the end of the game cycle, it's a bit yeah, everyone's not really motivated, but yeah. But towards my dominance, a lot of people have unluck. Well, they're not really that lucky. There's a few races where I've been lucky. So, Bahrain, you could say I was lucky. With F1 driver and Rapper, just we all know what happened there. But I was probably going to win that race anyway with the safety car. But if it wasn't a safety car, but you know, but really the championship could have been a lot closer if Rapper if he didn't do them actions in Bahrain. It could have been, let's say he would have been 3rd, then it would have been like 30 something points, which would have been sliding to USA instead. Yeah.
And it would have put Williams into the championship constructor fight even more.
Yeah, constructors is the best thing now.
What do you mean?
Hopefully that goes to the last
It's
race.
your team.
No, I meant for
What
what
do you
you did
mean?
in Bahrain.
You
No, I meant
traitor.
for what you did in Bahrain. Oh dear, I'm
You
fired
traitor.
now.
No, I'd say you kick him from the team.
You violated
Killed
your
it.
team.
Oh dear.
We can't allow this. Nah, you're being
Promote
really
Robert
personal.
into
Safe,
TSA.
mate.
Kick him.
Pack
Kick
your
him.
bags.
He violated the team.
Pack your bags. Actually, to be fair, he did win a race for us yesterday, so we'll keep him.
Yeah, okay, we keep him.
So, anyways, I was gonna say, Booker, just one last question. Obviously, the last lap again. There's hard racing. You know, you always want every position. Did you think John was fighting too hard because he had the 6-second penalty, or do you just think in general he was trying to get ahead of Ricochet or stay ahead of him because he was in a battle with him based off penalties?
Well, I think he was just, I don't know what his mindset was really. His
It seems as though when people have penalties, they fight harder than when they don't have penalties.
yeah, I see that. Like,
That's true.
but when that's the thing, if they have penalties, they shouldn't battle people unless they know they're much quicker. They should just like stay in a DOS, like get some slipstream. If they know they're faster, then go for a move, of course. But if they just stay in someone's DOS, have slipstream, if they got a penalty, they can pull away from some other guy instead of just battling them, which John decided to battle me. But he had a nice slingshot off Rouge. I can see why he tried to battle, but he would lose time just like going around the outside or something. So I don't know what his mindset was, but you know, it's racing. This is, you know.
Judging by the fact
Yeah.
that he's American, probably wasn't very smart.
Anyways, congratulations on the championship. Milo, do you have any other questions for Poker about his season, championship, and race, or one of two, or one of the three?
Yeah. Just speaking of close championships in general, obviously this not so close championship is wrapped up for you. You mentioned the fact of starting at the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Whenever you are doing it, you're going ahead with
Yeah,
that.
why not? Just some more fun.
Well, yeah,
Of course.
that's your choice.
I mean, I'm still taking the league seriously, but like, it's more fun. I've won the championship. Let's just do some more
Let's
things
just go
that.
through the field.
yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah,
good for you.
you know.
You can go through the field and win, not just like sit there like P1 or P2.
Yeah, like I could just make it
I've
boring.
been in those races. Yeah.
I could make it boring, but I just like, oh yeah, let's just try and make the championship lead as big as possible. But like, let's say at the end of the season, the gap comes to like 10 points, because I try and do last to first. Like that would be like, I win the championship, but like, it just looks closer at the end of the season. Yeah, I'll put my mindset on doing that since like, I don't know, like there's two USA and Brazil. There are two tracks I'm good at, and I know Reese is also fast at USA and Brazil. Well, yeah, he's pretty fast at both. I don't know what his time trial is at both tracks, but he's competing with me in both tracks, so you know.
It's not very that
He's probably got like a 1 minute 6.9 at Brazil, but it's just you know, what's the word, voided or something while Cody's been shit. But
James, then you
yeah,
must have a 6.5 in TT.
oh yeah, I do actually. I've got a 3 minute
Yeah, I
lap of
thought-
Monaco as well. It's really fast.
Yeah, you're fast, mate.
Yeah. But that Josie
Nah, your
I-
qualifying
I-
lap was
too quick.
insane.
Yeah, 100%.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I'm gonna try last the first, of course. It's just, you know, something fun. And I now see Reese's on time trial. I swear.
I was looking at what time I've got.
Wait, James, the next race, if you're gonna start from the back, just do 1 or 2 poly laps and then just disqualify yourself. So like we
Yeah.
can see if you're fast.
We can see what your pace would be.
Yeah.
But look at my time trial. Actually, now I'll just tell you, it's like a 30.3. Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty quick and it's improvable, but you know.
I
yeah.
think I have a 30.6.
I'm so shit
Yeah.
in American. Mine's
I-
I had to switch it to
31.1.
I had to spec
Poker,
it
you
to
should
beat
join
time.
Kai's League and dominate there.
Guys, oh no. No.
I
You
had
have to
like
give
a
a lot of
30.5
personal
or
details when
something,
entering
I saw
that league.
Term and something else, so I had to sweat.
Anyways,
Like, I
congratulations,
can't
you
let
guys
Term
won
ahead.
the
Guys, I think we should let Tom into the league, AMS Tom, for these last 2 races.
Oh
I think
no.
he'd
Just so
enjoy
you
a bit
can
of
wreck
a...
him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
Well,
Bring a bit of formation lap, Carnage.
a lot of strategy. Yeah, we don't want that. A lot of strategy, a lot of different variety of stuff. Chaos. I mean, that's kind of what we wanted for Belgium race, but the good chaos. What we wanted. So tell me about that, Milo. The race today.
Obviously,
Still there.
last season at Spa, there were 10 DNFs, was it? Thankfully that reduced just to 4 today, so overall not as bad
Actually,
as Was it 5? Oh dear, I must have missed the
Yeah, it
last
was
one.
5, yeah.
But we halved them, which is better. At a tricky circuit like Spa. If your tyres are done, then you have obviously more chance of spinning out. But the leader held on today. And yet again, it was another strategical race, just like Tier 2 at Mexico. We saw the safety cars interfering with that as well. So some similarities between the races, despite the fact we're on completely different circuits. But yeah, nice to have the Drivers' Championship wrapped up. Obviously, congratulations to James. But it's Ricochet that will be feeling a bit happier after the football. Alright,
Oh,
we'll ignore that.
Oh, please tell me Chelsea hasn't won.
I've had
Yeah,
Ryan
they
saying
did.
2-1 to me for the last like.
Ah,
hour.
Liverpool's playing
An
Everton
hour.
now. Let's get that dub.
Yeah, in 20 minutes.
I actually
Anyway,
watched
enough
football
of
this
football.
morning as well before the race. I actually wanted to watch it. I did.
Mate,
I,
you call it soccer. You don't deserve to watch it. You call it soccer.
I just said football. I didn't call it soccer.
Yeah, I know, but normally people from your like area call it soccer. Like,
Still,
no.
I mean,
Area.
Disgrace.
Oh, there's a fat fucking country. Area.
Yeah, it's just a little area called America. No, little town.
little, very little. Yep.
Yeah, good fun today though.
Yeah, it was. It was a great race and something I expected to see. I expected to see another great race. We saw the battle back and forth for the podium. You know, everyone is always like, oh yeah, the better races are when Mr. Boker are on the podium, but when Mr. Boker is always contending for a chance at a podium or a chance at a win, there's been some good races with that. Austria, Britain, there's been some good races where Boker's always been in contention. Some people always like to doubt the fact of that. And I always say to them, don't just consider that. You got to think about the whole field. You can't just think about the lead, and you got to think about the whole field. We saw the battle as well. AMS Tax Rumbly Fungus, such J25, Sam Steed, Atlantis. They were all battling as well. They were all back and forth. They were going for position. And, you know, again, great battle in the midfield, and mainly that great battle for the podium that we wanted. And the race win as well with the tires. We didn't know it could happen. But Brazone takes his second win. DW back in the podium. I think that's a happy sight that we'll maybe see more, hopefully. At least let's hope.
I hope so.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens next time out in USA. Home race for me, basically. Home race for some people as well. Mainly tier 3 guys. So we'll have to see how that all turns out. Either way.
I'm only starting at the back to take everyone out.
Okay.
Disqualified.
Towards all drivers.
Mappa wins the championship.
It should be verbal disqualification.
Nah, just watch me just absolutely, you know, go like a rocket ship into turn 1 and just take
Yeah,
out
doing Andrew.
Term if he joins.
Feel bad for headphone
Just
users.
jokes. That race
was
is
gonna
actually
say-
really fun.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it's a good race.
I was glad how that
Yeah.
went. You know, I've mentioned as well. You know, Rappa, you mentioned it to me. I was gonna mention this before we end the stream. You mentioned this to me earlier in the season. How we always had at the beginning of the season.
Aw.
We had some races that were standout races. Some races that were just really boring. Now, ever since Austria, we've had the really, really good races now. Really standout races that we.
Because Reese won at
Austria.
Austria, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that.
Ever
Yeah,
since
the
you-
So
start
what
of the
about
season was a
Reserve
bit.
version 5?
Yeah, well, we need the. Yeah, well, why is the version 4 still here, man? He needs an update.
Like, what
Maybe it'll be
happened
quick.
to version 3, 2, and 1? Are they just like?
God knows,
Are
mate.
they
They
just
got
shit
lost.
races?
Old account, old account.
Ah, I see.
Well, join us next week at USA, America, for Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1. The championship can be decided for Tier 2, and the Constructors' Championships can also be decided as well. Make sure you join us in next week, so we'll see you guys then.